D.B. Cooper. In 1971, a man using the name D.B. Cooper boarded a commercial flight in the United States and calmly told a flight attendant he had a bomb. He demanded $200,000 in cash and parachutes, and after the plane landed, his demands were met without resistance. Once back in the air, he ordered the pilots to fly at a low altitude before jumping out of the plane into the night somewhere over the Pacific Northwest. Despite one of the largest manhunts in FBI history, Cooper was never found, and only a small portion of the ransom money was ever recovered years later. His disappearance turned him into a legend, and to this day, no one knows if he survived the jump or what really happened after he vanished. Carl Tanzler. Carl Tanzler was a radiology technician in Florida who became deeply obsessed with one of his patients, a young woman suffering from tuberculosis. He believed she was his destined soulmate and was devastated when she died. But instead of letting go, Tanzler secretly removed her body from the cemetery and brought it home. Over the course of several years, he preserved the corpse using makeshift methods, including wax, wires, and perfume, essentially creating a lifelike figure he lived with. The case shocked the public when it was eventually discovered, raising disturbing questions about obsession, delusion, and the limits of human attachment. The Sodder children. On Christmas Eve in 1945, a house fire in West Virginia supposedly claimed the lives of 5 children from the Sodder family. However, something didn't add up. Despite the intensity of the fire, no remains were ever found in the ashes. The family began receiving strange clues suggesting the children might still be alive, including a mysterious photograph years later. Witnesses reported seeing the children after the fire, and there were multiple suspicious circumstances surrounding the incident, including a cut phone line and a missing ladder. The Sodder family spent the rest of their lives believing the children had been kidnapped, turning the case into one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries in American history. Tsutomu Miyazaki. Tsutomu Miyazaki was a Japanese serial killer whose crimes in the late 1980s horrified the entire nation. He targeted young girls, committing deeply disturbing acts that went far beyond murder. After his crimes, he would send letters and even personal items to the victims' families, taunting them in chilling ways. His behavior and the nature of his crimes led the media to label him the otaku killer, linking his actions to his obsession with anime and horror media. The case sparked widespread debate in Japan about media influence, mental health, and social isolation, leaving a lasting cultural impact. Issei Sagawa. Issei Sagawa was a Japanese man studying in Paris who committed one of the most shocking crimes imaginable. He killed and cannibalized a fellow student, later openly admitting to his actions. What made the case even more disturbing was what happened afterward. Due to legal technicalities and questions about his mental state, Sagawa was declared unfit to stand trial in France and was eventually deported back to Japan. There, he was released and went on to live freely, even gaining a degree of notoriety in media. The case remains one of the most controversial examples of how justice systems can fail in extraordinary ways. The Great Emu War. In 1932, Australia faced an unusual problem when large numbers of emus began destroying farmland in Western Australia. In response, the government deployed soldiers armed with machine guns to deal with the birds. What followed was a bizarre and almost unbelievable series of events where the emus proved incredibly difficult to control. They scattered, moved quickly, and avoided sustained fire, making the military effort ineffective. Despite multiple attempts, the operation failed, and the emus essentially won. The incident became known as the Great Emu War, a strange and often humorous chapter in history that shows even modern weaponry isn't always enough against nature.